The numbers are going. Hey MGTOWs, this is Vention. Wow, what an experience. This cancer clinic, this cancer center, it's not really just a clinic, it's a little bigger than that. And man, what an experience it has been. Let me flip this thing around. This is going to be a totally off-the-cuff, unscripted video. Just wanted to bring you guys up to date. Wow, I just got out of the pool, swam about 5 laps, and man, did it kick my butt. I basically did my 3 weeks, and I've got 1 day off tomorrow. Maybe I can do a little healing from all these IV bruises and various holes that they've been poking into me. There's a good one right there. And wow, it's going to be good to get home. I got the results of my time here. I got the results. Basically, I asked the doctor to give me a prescription for a CT scan at a local hospital, and it's a pretty modern looking CT scanner machine, and it cost me all of $350 plus the medical transport between the 2 places. Cost me another $80, and so worth it. Man, if I went to that chemo quack that I used to go to for a CT scan, I wouldn't be surprised to pay $5,000 or $6,000 for that, if not more. So yeah, what a scam it is up north. And basically, I'm just going to. So I got my scan, and I got also the before and after ultrasound scans, and it appears that I've got more than one tumor, or lesion they call it, in my liver, and I have a thickening in my rectum. It's actually just rectal cancer. It's colorectal cancer, they call it, but it's actually in the rectum. And over the time, the 3 weeks I've been here, the restriction that I used to feel went away, and a lot of the bleeding has gone away, and it's, in fact, it's almost entirely gone unless I fast. Right? If I'm fasted, as I have been many times here during this stay, and there's no activity in my colon, so to speak, because we do enemas, green coffee enemas every day. But if I basically have no activity in my colon, I get a little bit of, if I get gas, I get a little bit of goo that looks very much like if you take a steak and you fling the steak off, and what's in that absorbent material in the steak, it looks kind of a little bit greasy and a little bloody, and it's kind of gross, and that's on the toilet paper, but there's very little of that goes in the toilet. I mean, practically, pretty much no blood now. So, according to the ultrasound scan, the thickening of the wall of the rectum is now about half what it was before. It was like, I can't remember the numbers, but that it's like about half the thickness, and the tumor hasn't extended into muscle or anything like that. So it's all in the rectum. So if I wanted to get it surgically removed, I probably could, but man, I've made such progress here that I am thinking that I will not do that. I think I will just hammer away at it for another 3 months till my follow-up. And if I want to have another round of the alternative cancer treatment that I just experienced, I can buy it at a week at a time, and basically it's pretty darn affordable, especially with what I think Bitcoins are going to be doing. During the cancer clinic, I peeled off a little weight, and pardon my flashing, you guys. If you're sensitive to ugly things, you can avert your eyes. My stomach is practically flat nowadays, and it is, you can still see the scars from all the previous obesity, and but basically, and I generally hold it sort of flat, but man, the last of the rolls basically have pretty much gone away since I've been out here. But I got that old man's skin. As you can see, it sort of wrinkles up a little bit here and there. But I don't care. That's the power of MGTOW. Oh, but I'm out of uniform. If you will excuse me for a moment. I have shown the flag all over Cancun with my two favorite MGTOW t-shirts. I have experienced some amazing things here. Let me see if I can find the copy, but basically it's I can't find it. The whole routine has just been stellar. As soon as you finish one treatment, a technician shows up and takes you to the next one, and it's like, man, it's like you show up and then you get your super organic breakfast. You get, I think it was like something like chia seed oatmeal today, and a frozen fruit smoothie that was freaking amazing, and a green juice. They call it Jogo Verde around here, and organic, of course, and very tasty, and a shot of apple cider vinegar diluted with something, I'm not sure what, or green juice or something. They usually throw something in there with it. So, and you can, I'm starting to get addicted to those things. Somehow my body is feeling that a shot of apple cider vinegar is tasty, whereas before it was revolting as all can be. So then basically then I went on to the infrared lamps. Then I went on to basically heat the cancer, and I started with the ultrasound machine. Basically, there's an ultrasound machine that they're sending back with me. It's part of the price of admission, and you basically use 20 minutes on each tumor, right, or tumor area, and at 2.3 megahertz or hertz, I think, is supposed to be the frequency of those cancer cells. And then basically you can point the thing at it and work it around like that, and then it will disrupt the cellular structure of cancer cells. And then when it beats it up a little bit like that, it makes it more susceptible to other treatments such as the vitamin C megadosing, vitamin B17, the Samar, there is just, I usually get like 4 IVs in one day. As soon as they hook up one IV while you're eating your breakfast, and sometimes it's kind of funny because one technician's on one side hooking up the blood pressure measuring device, and then the other technician is poking you and about to poke needles in you and stuff, and then they say, hey, your blood pressure's a little high. Why is that? And I think, it's kind of funny how my blood pressure goes up when they're poking needles into me on the other arm. So, yeah. So then you basically go off to the electrical heating of the tumor. You have like a grounding plate on one side, and then they have this thing on the other side that sends an electric current or a radio frequency actually through your body to the tumor area to heat it up, And when tumors reach fever temperatures, they tend to fall apart, right? And that is very handy for those of us who have cancer. So then basically you go off to many other treatments. You go to like the massage, and I often just fall right asleep in the massage. I find that amusing because I have insomnia, and yet when I get that massage from a highly skilled technician, man, I just go boop and I'm gone. Then you go off to like You can do other things. There's the zipper sauna like I have at home. I don't know if I've shown that to you guys. And that's a near infrared sauna, which basically sends infrared into your body and heats the tumor. Mine goes up to 140 degrees, as theirs does, and that's what I'm usually in for 50 minutes. So I plug in some MGTOW videos or some Bitcoin videos and listen to a podcast while I'm there, and good times. And then usually, well, since I got cancer and since I lost all that weight, my body seems to crave heat. So the first 45 minutes in that sauna, it's like, ah. And then the last 15 minutes, it's like the forces of creation crashing into the forces of entropy, and I could just feel it smashing inside me like an explosion. And I could just feel that power as the heat and my own force just smashing together, producing just energy beyond energy. And I find some of the other cancer patients find the sauna almost intolerable. They can like make 45 minutes and they can't do it, but man, I was in the sauna. There are two saunas. One's the zipper sauna, one's the pizza oven sauna, they call it, where you lay down and put the thing over you and only your head sticks out. And that one, your body temperature can go up dramatically. My body temperature hit 107 degrees in that sauna. And at temperatures like that, cancer cells just give up and fall to pieces. And with all the IVs they're giving me, Samir, vitamin C, vitamin B17, and all of the injections as well, all of those things combine to just pulverize cancer. And then you go on to there are several other treatments that I'm certainly not even, the laser blood illumination, because I had like some bacterial load in my bloodstream. So sorry, why I keep looking up here, because I'm seeing myself in the mirror and I'm seeing myself in the phone, but this is actually you guys right here. So I will concentrate on the camera here. But man, so basically they hook like 5 different colored lasers. One is ultraviolet up to the catheter that goes into your IV, and they hook a fiber optic cable to it, and then it illuminates your blood, and it kills bacteria and parasites and funguses and things that are in your blood. And the funny thing is, a little red spot, when the red laser's on, shows up on your arm when in the IV. And the joke is that it's a reset button. You can poke it, and then like an old video game, you're reset. As far as the emotional counseling, it has been an amazing experience. I feel different. That doesn't change the MGTOW lifestyle. That doesn't change my plans. And that certainly doesn't change the divorce rate. It certainly doesn't change false accusations. And the tremendous, overwhelming power that a woman has just by picking up a phone and saying, "Hello, police. My significant other did X," whatever. And then off to jail you go. None of this is changed by the fact that the way I feel about it has changed. In the past, I would feel such enormous power flowing through me and all around me. It's just like this cloud of fire and power around me when I would like relate that story of when my best friend's no sex for 2 years called in the false accusation and had him hauled off to jail. Well, I was relating that experience to one of the other cancer patients, and something was, man, it was so different, because in the past I would just feel this power above my head, right? I would just feel this just power above my head coming down it was something like off Dragon Ball Z, guys. And I would feel the cloud of power or something around me, and I would feel inside me this force and this energy, and I could feel it even coming out of my mouth when I would relate the story, and it would be like, it's almost indescribable, and it's like almost a kind of meditation or yoga, the way I've heard of yoga, people into yoga who basically have the ability to call down just tremendous energy and apply it and then have it collide inside their body, creating just enormous power and force that's just all around them. And I felt something very much like that whenever I would, really get the MGTOW on. But today it didn't come. It's like part of it is just, it's just gone. And that power and that force, can I say that in a weird ass way, I kind of missed it just for a moment there, because having all of that power, all that just tremendous energy just blasting through your entire body, when you're just feeling that power coming out, when you're talking about what happened, and just, and you could just feel the energy and the power just coming out of your breath when you are relating that story, or when I am relating that story, and it's all over. It's like it was just everywhere. It's like an astounding thing. But today, when I related the story, that power, I only got about 10% of it, as usual. And I think that power is a self-destructive power that's using part of me and part of my own well-being as fuel, as I was describing before. And it was, and it just, it's invigorating and power and just amazing vitality and just force and strength, and you can almost like a chi force that guy, these old video games used to shoot things out of their hands. and you could feel it. It's just almost impossible I could feel it waving around me on the outside, like a foot or three away. Like part of me is not just the body. I could just feel part of my awareness and everything extending around in this cloud around me as I was screaming out the fire of my rage. And I didn't feel that today. So I'm thinking that I am going to be a more serene, more relaxed. Oh man, I can feel more relaxed already. I can feel more relaxed, more at peace, and I can just feel the peace, which is also hard to describe. And I can feel the energy in me, but I can't feel the big cloud around me, and I don't feel the power that's like coming out of my breath when I'm screaming out fire of my rage to about 4 feet out. That's what it felt like to have red pill rage, my brothers. What an experience. But some of that power is still there, but it's, as I was saying, it's coming from somewhere else. So I had 2 sessions of acupuncture with some counseling. That counselor lady, she didn't understand anything about MGTOW. She did not understand the divorce rate. She did not understand, the average marriage lasts 8 years. She didn't understand that what happens to men after the woman decides to throw us out, right? And when I could see in her, I could look into her eyes And I could see that she just did not get it, right? And then that made it just really close to impossible to take anything she said seriously, because she cannot, or she could not understand. But then she did some research, and the second session, but basically, so the first counseling session, we just went boom, and then I could feel that giant cloud around me, and man, she was like sitting there going, not really flinching back, but I could think, it felt to me like she was deliberately not flinching. And she just did not get it. But then I figured I paid so much friggin' money for this place, for this cancer center. I'm taking advantage of everything it's got to offer. So when she said, well, how about if I hook you up for acupuncture, And I said, sure, I've never done that before. Let's give it a shot. And man, Big Toes, when she poked that needle into my sternum, man, I just felt waves and waves and waves of just sadness beyond sadness. It was just hard to hold it all back, right? But in that current state, I would not trust her. I did not trust her, and no way was I going to be shedding a tear in front of her. But man, I just felt the waves of sadness. It was just impossible to describe. And then basically the second session, she had done her homework. She understood the statistics on the marriage rate, what happens to men, and I think we're a little tilted here. And what happens to men in divorce. I think I'll move it around a little bit too. What happens to divorce when the woman throws us out, and basically, and then at that point, I could talk to her. But before then, nothing she said had any value to me at all. So we did some counseling that second session in the second week, and then I did another round of acupuncture. There were places where the needles went in and I hardly even felt them. And then there were other places the needles went in, they felt like an electric shock. And then, but in certain places, like in my right forearm, man, the grief just was coming out. It was just spewing out. But of course, I was not crying or anything. But I certainly have in the past, and it was a very releasing experience. Like I was locked up, man, and I feel different. And today's counseling was just counseling, right? This is the last session of the 3 weeks I've been here. Boy, looking at the major events of my life through the timeline, there's this book with how to place, as far as like what order you are of birth, and then the major events in your life. And man, I have had so many friggin' shitty things happening to me. So many of my brothers would just laugh at the amount of abuse I received from my mother, but because it wasn't actually like serious abuse, but there has been some abuse and a lot of emotional abuse and sheer neglect, because she was just phoning it in, man. And her dad was all screwed up too, and she, there was times like when her mother, her father married her mother because she was beautiful, right? And her mother wasn't attracted to her dad, and then every once in a while she'd get angry and leave, right? And then my mother would be holding on to her arm or her leg, being dragged in the mud. Please don't go, drag, you know. And then eventually she just laid in the dirt while her mother abandoned her, you know. No wonder my mother's fucked up. And then guess what? She decided to share it with us. Yay! So my major events in my life, you know, it's like, and you can see where they fit in. And then there's this weird thing where things repeat over time, and they pigeonhole into a certain mathematical form, you know. And it's like right on time. It's there is this event, and right on time I was about to blow my friggin' company commander's brains out back in Iraq. Right on time, the highway of death in Iraq. Right on time, you know. Kindergarten having the shit kicked out of me by that older girl, you know, who just sought me out to kick my ass. Man, what was she going through? She was probably pretty fucked up too. What a world we live in. It's just pain and grief and just amazing agony. And you can see it out there. All those people in that pool out there, and they're using alcohol and attempting to run away from their problems, and they're just out there trying to stem the pain and distract themselves from the agony. And some of them are having fun, and some of them are having a good time, and they can't really do that at home so much, you know, as I can, because anytime I'm home, I'm happy because, you know, I've got things to work on. I've got a couple of trucks. I've got that truck camper, and I can go places and I can work on things that I like, and that is what I'm planning to do when I get back home too. But basically, there's just so much pain out there in the world, my brothers. And I am not going to add to it by getting married, because I don't want to share any more of it for myself. So, so it's really crazy how it all adds up into that weird pattern. And then it's like and then when I was all on one page, you could see all of the just friggin' tremendous amount of crap I've been through in my life. And it really explains why I became so dead set on not trusting the system. And the systems of that, like the banking system, and I'm peeling like a friggin' snake from all the sunburn I got the other day. But man, all of these things, you know, when I was like a kid and I had a pinworm infection that was just driving me batshit insane when I was like 2, or maybe possibly 3, between 2 and 3, and it would just drive me insane. I'd ram my finger up my butt and to scratch that agonizing itch, and then not knowing what to do with it. Probably the sink was too tall for me when I was that age, but and of course my mom didn't have any idea, so she didn't make any steps or anything for me, and then so I would just wipe it on the walls. And man, I would consider the beatings that I would get for that, I would consider that abuse. I would call that severe enough to be considered significant child abuse. So not only was I neglected, I was freaking abused. Nothing like a lot of our brothers out here, man. My heart just goes out to you guys, because you had the shit kicked out of you by your own fucking parents. Wow, what an experience. What do you do with that? What the hell do you do with that? What you do is you try to work through it, get some of that acupuncture, get some of that counseling, get some books, try to get rid of that anger, because it appears that is a significant addition to the causes of my cancer. Mind really can control your body, really does It really affects your physical makeup. And I can control, of course, the goosebumps, the reflex, and I can control, I suspect I could probably control, if I worked at it, I could probably even control the speed of my heart, which would be an interesting thing to work on, an interesting project. But basically, so man, compared to the wounds and the pain and the anguish I've gone through, so many of our brothers listening to this video would just say, man, that is bad enough, but it is not. It's not what I went through, because some of our brothers have gone through some massive shit. So basically, it looks like I've lived my entire life trying to pull back away from all the shit that's been painful and abusive to me, like family. I've pulled back from that, because except for my old man, he's treated me very well over the years. Clueless as fuck, but and not red-pilled in the least, but he's always been there for me. So yes, I've considered him and maybe my younger sister as real family, youngest sister, real family. Everyone else has been not very nice at times, in fact most of the time, and they're all just dealing with their own pain. So, Army, highway of death in Iraq, dead men everywhere, burning, people were adding them up in fractions, thinking it was funny, trying to change how they felt about the experience. Not me, brothers. I just kept my eyes straight, trying to avoid watching all those dead people, and some of them were even still burning. They were still on fire. And basically, I did everything I could to not accept that danger, but even then I was unhinged. I was very near suicide and homicide twice. And each time, one person on my team in Iraq showed up and saved my ass. One of them was a friend of mine. Well, I guess she's a friend of mine. She's an Army buddy, Facebook friend, but I couldn't really get close to her because of my profound distrust of women. And she always just thought I was impossible to talk with, but I could probably have gotten laid, and who knows, but it could have turned out to be a disaster, but it probably would have. But all my life I have been attempting to gain independence from things that have just been painful and dirty and gross and horrible, right? And the cancer has manifested first in my rectum, which is the dirtiest place we've got, my MGTOW brothers. That's the dirtiest place, and that's where I've been. Part of me, I suspect, has been trying to separate myself from all the negative experiences, which is also including separating myself from my life. And now I don't feel that rage and pain as much as I used to, but man, it's there. And now my emotions are closer to the surface. My ability to touch the emotional side of myself for guidance, because it is a guide, my brothers. That ability to touch the emotional self and let myself know how I feel about it, right? Then the other side, I've got the intellectual side, which I can use to improve my life and build systems and create wealth and create prosperity and well-being in my life. And then But if that's all I've got, it's just like, okay, the next thing on the list, boop, is to start buying Bitcoins. And then, okay, the next thing on the list is to do this. Totally disconnected from my ability to enjoy what I'm doing and enjoy my life. And when I really, and every time the emotional side would come back, and start giving me memories of pain and memories of when shit has happened to me, my id or my mind or whatever, my soul, whatever, and plus the intellectual side, which is like I've been entirely, mentally focused, and then when the emotions would come, they would have to come like a freight train to break through to break into my awareness of my thoughts and into the intellectual side, and then it just was like a crashing thing, and a disruptive force. And then my response would just be, go away, go away. I would just say to it constantly, go away, right? And I actually would say that quietly, and there have been some times in my life where somebody else was in the room and it was quiet, and I would just open my eyes and say, go away. And they would go, holy crap, what's wrong with that guy? And it has caused a little bit of embarrassment from time to time. So basically, man, now my emotional side is more able to intrude, if you want to call it an intrusion, because it's me. It's still me, Is it an intrusion if it's me? So what it is, it's a guide, It's here to tell us when we're in danger, when I see, in situations, that little spidey sense, that tells you that you've got some problems and you might very well be in physical danger from something. Like those two beggars in the gas station back home, he showed up with this big, I want to use you smile, and then attempted to beg money from me, but I could feel the connection between him and another beggar on the other side of the parking lot, who was like, he had a pickup truck there, or the car or something, not a pickup truck, but I could sense that he was like backup, right? And if the opportunity was correct, that begging would have turned into a strong arm robbery with 2-on-1. And I was armed, but it's harder to reach that pocket carry LCP 380. So I didn't feel up, I didn't feel ready for the conflict, So immediately as he was walking up, boom, it canceled on that fuel pump, and then pulled the thing, hung it up, and then I was just like, just like a cornered freaking cougar or mountain lion or something, and I was just backing off, as he and then I got into my truck. I didn't care about anything. I used the Cash App anyway, which is insulated from my main account. I didn't even bother with the receipt. It said, do you want a receipt? I didn't hit yes or no, but if it spewed out, I didn't care. My personal safety was more important. So back home, even though I'm so much more serene and more in touch with myself, there are still people out there who want to do you harm. And you've got to be aware of that. So whenever I fuel from now on, I will pull my pistol and put it in my jacket pocket and have my hand on it while I'm pumping fuel. And then if I get anything like that, I will give them a good hard look, and my hand will be in my pocket, and they will understand what's up. And that should decrease problems. And if I'm given problems and I'm physically attacked, I will do what is necessary to save my life. The saying is, I would rather be judged by 12 or something than carried by 6, something like that. I would rather be alive than not alive. I paid a ton of money just recently for that cancer clinic, and that's proof that I want to be alive. So the results. I have elevated inflammation in my body. I have inflammation and some soreness in the rectal tumor. I have the thickening of the walls, which was like something like 25 or something. I don't know what 25 watts. I don't know what they're measuring, but it's now something like 16. And the CT scan report from the hospital, the CT scan cost me $350. I think I mentioned that already. I'm just shocked at how amazing the prices are here in Mexico. Even in Cancun tourist city, there are a lot of things that are so cheap, it's unbelievable. So basically, I will be getting a CD with the pictures of the CT scan, and I've got the report from the radiologist at the hospital, which mirrors the ultrasound scan that I got from the guy who has the ultrasound machine at the cancer center. So I've got a little bit of external corroborating evidence, unless it's like totally corrupt, but I'll have the pictures too. So according to the ultrasound and the CT scan, the tumors, or the lesions they call them, in my liver are necrotic. They are swollen, and it appears that inside there is dead material because there's no blood flow. I don't know how they measure blood flow with ultrasound or a CT scan, but well, I assume they do. But basically, they're saying that the inside of them are dead, right? Which is, so I'll continue with the ultrasound disruptor. I call it the ultrasonic disruptor because I'm a big sci-fi fan. and then I will be working on disrupting those. I will continue the sauna treatments at home, and I'm going to get a cookbook or a recipe book from this cancer center, from some of the dishes that they've cooked, which were very tasty, maybe because I was so hungry. And the walls, the restriction I felt in the rectal tumor is way less, if not gone. And the walls of the rectum were like 20 something, 24, and they were saying it was like 16, but I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look it up. So I've accomplished a lot, and I come back in 3 months for the follow-up, and when I do, I may decide to have another round of all of that treatment. But man, my brothers, all of the holes they've poked in me, and all of the IVs and everything that they've just been loading and just dumping all this stuff into my system, all of it is causing bruises and little, other problems. And man, even if I wanted to stay here and abandon my plane ticket and just stay here it would probably take me a week and a half for all this shit to heal. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to abandon my plane ticket. I'm just going to fly home, and then I'm going to do some fun stuff while I wait for the follow-up to roll around, continue my treatments that I can do at home, including that sauna treatment. I'm going to extend it from like a half hour to a full 50 minutes because I can take it. And then I will also do the cardio, and I suspect now that I'm a little bit lighter than I was before, man, I bet I could break into a run, even though my knees used to be so screwed up and loaded with arthritis. A lot of that has been cleared out by fasting. So all in all, I'm going to say that I recommend this place, but there was a problem. There was a problem with this full all-inclusive resort. All the other cancer patients seem to have this superpower, right? They have the ability to just talk to the chef and order special food and get like grilled vegetables instead of a bunch of rice, right? And they could get food, they could get green salads on room service, right? They could get things that I could not get. And I would ask and they would say, nope, not on the menu, nope. And then nope, nope. And it was a litany of no's. No, 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 no. And then I discovered that the little teeny bopper chick who checked me in 3 weeks ago didn't code the room as a cancer patient. Pardon me, I'm still peeling like a friggin' snake with all that sunburn I got the other day. And it kind of itches and it makes me want to pull that stuff off. But basically, and the mistake was never found, right? Now, last night I had two customer service people calling, attempting to repair the damage that has been done, but there is nothing that can be done. The damage cannot be fixed because it's all water under the bridge. 3 weeks of, and when I was so desperately hungry, there were times when I was so desperately hungry, MGTOWs, I had to eat something that was not on the list. I had to eat something that had some carbs in it. I had to eat something that had, like breading around fish or